Hey everybody, Jason Ryan here from iAnimate. How's everybody doing? So in this week's snippet, we're going to be talking about walks and specifically the figure eight. Okay, so with walks, it's super important to know exactly what's going on with the mechanics. And you'll hear me talk about the figure eight. And what is that exactly? And it's basically the pattern of the body and the head as it relates to the character walking. Right? So we know that there's 4 different poses in the walk. We've got the contact, and then we got the squash, then the passing, and then the overshoot or breakdown pose. Okay, so that can either be an overshoot or an undershoot or a breakdown. Okay, but the pattern of the head, specifically from the front view, is a very specific thing, and it dictates sort of like the weight and the balance of the character. So if the character is sort of like this big bulky type guy, we're going to start to get a little bit more of that pronounced figure eight shape because his legs are a little wider. In a female walk where the legs are almost going one in front of the other, you may not see as much of that figure eight shape, but specifically more for guys and bigger guys that have a wider stance. All right, so let's go over this. Okay, so I've drawn in like just very roughly 2 contact poses, right? So we're going to do like a little quick walk cycle here, right? And then the very first pose that I'm going to be doing is going to be the passing pose, right? I'm going to do previous and next in between here with flipbook, so I can kind of see exactly what's going on, right? So the passing pose, right? So let me just make a little mark here. So we're going to start on this and we're going to go over onto the other side, right? So let's go copy. Okay, I'm going to basically go right over to here. And then what we want to do is try to move our character's weight over that weighted leg. Okay, so like in a natural walk, the weighted leg will be straight, right? So you're going to get that nice straight feel, right? And we're going to get the character's weight over that pose, right? And usually what I try to do is get the head sort of over in that general direction, right? Now we can get a little bit of tilting going on, like so I can get like the hips tilting up like this, and then we start to get the leg, you know, this leg here sort of coming into a passing pose, right? So depending on how cartoony you want to make it, like will determine like how high you actually want that leg to go. But let's try and keep it a little bit more natural so we can get the mechanics right. So maybe something a little bit more like that, okay? And then we get the weight sort of over this way. And then what we can do is like have a little bit of a tilt of the upper body, right? So we can do this, okay? Where we get the body sort of tilting over that way, right? And I'll just kind of roughly draw in the head, just so we can kind of see exactly what's going on, right? Okay? Now, the passive position is basically the same height as our contact, right? It might be slightly higher, so we could make that slightly higher, but we're going to just keep it the same height for now, just for simplicity's sake as well, right? And then we'll get our downs and ups like with the other poses, right? So let's just keep the same sort of design here, okay? And then arms are going opposite to the legs, right? So like I'm drawing in, he's not wearing shorts, right? But I'm drawing in just these lines just to kind of show us where the perspective is actually going, right? So this foot's actually starting to come forward towards us, okay? While we get that hip shift going that way, okay? And then we'll have this arm basically coming forward with this leg, right? So the opposite leg. So I'm going to start to just kind of draw that in there. Maybe the wrist is sort of dragging behind a little bit, right? So we might get a little swing out this way, coming around into that pose, right? And then this arm is going back, right? So we'll get this one start to swing back that way. Okay, cool. All right, now let's go ahead and do the opposite of that pose. So I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it over here, basically right before where I want the actual pose to be, right? So right here. And I'm going to turn off next. So I'm basically just going to be doing the opposite of this pose, right? So let's just see where the foot's going to be. So basically around there, okay? Right there, okay? And then we're going to get the opposite, right? So this hip is going to be up, and then this leg is going to be kicking through, right? I'm just going to do it quite roughly just so we can get the idea of the mechanics of this walk in here. Okay. All right, and then a weight is going to be then over this side. Okay. This is like the opposite side, right? So we're going to, it's a lot easier to do in CG, right? You know, because you don't have to do all these drawings, but well, let's try and get the mechanics here, right? So we get this, and what we're trying to do is get like the head sort of like over that weighted leg a little bit more, right? So you got this right there, and here, nope, here is basically right there, right? So we'll get it over just a little bit further. So we get that right there, okay? And then this arm is coming forward, so it's swinging this way. A little bit further around, right? And we get a break in the wrist maybe, so that the wrist is maybe dragging slightly behind, and then this arm is coming back, right? Because it's following this leg. So we get that one coming back too, right? Maybe it's dragging a little bit that way. Okay, now, so let's go ahead and get rid of this one. Edit, delete, and I'll move this down. So it's still got the same timing. This is 25. Okay. So we have now, we've got that weight shift and we have that weight shift. Okay.